Hercules is a Roman hero and god. He is the Roman equivalent of the great divine hero Hercules, who is the son of Zeus and the mortal alchemist. Hebe was the goddess of youth, daughter of Zeus and Hera. She served nectar and ambrosia to the Olympians and later married Hercules. Ganymede, a divine hero whose homeland was Troy. Homer describes Ganymede as the most beautiful of mortals. Zeus falls in love with his beauty and abducts with him the form of an eagle to serve as cupbearer in Olympus.
Hercules was the son of Jupiter and Alcmena. As Juno was always hostile to the offspring of her husband by mortal mothers, she declared war against Hercules from his birth. She sent two serpents to destroy him as he lay in his cradle. But the precocious infant strangled them with his own hands. The real story of Hercules is the story of a warrior. Hercules, also known as Hercules, Hercules, Herculea, or Hercules, is a prime example of a mighty warrior. Without any more major interference from Hera, Hercules grew into a great warrior. He single-handedly led the attack that drove the minions out of Thebes. In gratitude, Creon, king of Thebes, offered his eldest daughter Megara to the hero. Hercules and Megara got married and had 3 strong sons. The family lived happily together. It wasn't happily ever after for Hercules. It turns out, jealous Greek gods don't let go of grudges so easily. Determined to make him suffer, Hera once again interfered in Hercules' life. Hera used her power to get inside Hercules' head. He fell into madness and went insane with rage. Under Hera's dark influence, he gruesomely murdered his beloved wife and children. It doesn't get any more real than that. It gets even worse. Hercules had no idea that he had murdered his wife and children because of Hera's trickery. When he came to, he was totally destroyed by his actions. With a broken heart, he set out to seek punishment for the horrifying crimes he had committed. Hercules traveled to Delphi to ask Apollo what he should do to rid his soul of this evil. Even though it was no secret that Hera had truly been the cause of Hercules' terrible crimes, Apollo commanded Hercules to endure a long and harsh punishment to atone for his sins. Apollo sent Hercules to the city of the Rings, where he had to serve the cruel king, Eurystheus, for 12 years and complete 12 impossible tasks known as the 12 labors. Apollo promised that after Hercules had completed his punishment, his soul would be cleansed of evil and he could join the gods of Mount Olympus. Sounds simple, right? Not really. Here are the 12 labors that Hercules completed to fulfill Apollo's wishes. The 12 labors of Hercules. First, the lion. Hercules was sent to the hills of Nemea to kill a lion that was terrorizing the people. Hercules skinned the lion and wore the pelt as a cloak for the rest of his life. Second, the Hydra. Hercules traveled to the city of Lerna to slay the 9-headed poison snake-like creature called Hydra, who lived underwater guarding the entrance to the underworld. Third, the hind. Hercules had to capture the Serenitian deer with the golden antlers who was sacred to the goddess Artemis. Fourth, the boar. Hercules was sent to Mount Erymanthus to capture a terrifying man-eating wild boar. Fifth, the stables. Hercules had to clean all the shit out of King Gigantic stables in one day. While this may sound simple, this was actually a huge and smelly task. Sixth, the birds. Hercules traveled to the town of Stymphalus and drove out the huge flock. Seventh, the bull. Hercules journeyed to create the capture of rampaging bull that had impregnated the wife of the king. The queen later gave birth to the Minotaur, a creature with a man's body and a bull's head. 8. The horses. Hercules was sent to capture the 4 man-eating horses of the Thracian king Diomedes. 9. The belt. Hercules was sent to steal an armored belt that belonged to the Amazon queen Hippolyte. 10. The cattle. Hercules traveled nearly to Africa to steal the cattle of the three-headed six-legged monster Geryon. 11. The apples. King Eurystheus sent Hercules to steal a set of golden apples, Hera's wedding gift to Zeus. And lastly, the three-headed dog. The final challenge led Hercules to Hades, where he had to kidnap Cerberus, the vicious three-headed dog that guarded the gates to the underworld. Basically, for 12 years, Hercules' story was collecting a lot of stamps on his passports, and he had to nearly die many times. After Hercules successfully completed the 12 labors, Apollo's promise of an immortal life on Mount Olympus was still many difficult years away. Hercules had to rescue the princess of Troy from a hungry sea monster and help Zeus defeat the giants in a great battle for the control of Olympus before he could take his earned place among the Olympians.
Accounts of Hercules and Hebe show that the pair got married after he was given immortality. This marriage further displeased Hera because he took her daughter, Hebe, away from Mount Olympus and into the arms of a man that she detested. Not only that, but Hebe did a lot to assist Hera, and because Hebe wasn't around, she could no longer be there for Hera. To make matters worse for Hera, when Hercules and Hebe were married, Hercules was given the gift of eternal youth, which further sparked Hera's contempt. Despite the fact that Hera wasn't pleased when the pair got together, Hebe and Hercules had a great marriage, and the two had children together. Once Hebe left Mount Olympus, Zeus found someone else, the beautiful youth Ganymede, to be the cupbearer of the gods. Hebe went from being treated like a servant on Mount Olympus to being in a happy marriage with one of the greatest heroes of Greek mythology. Before Ganymede became cupbearer, Hebe, the eventual wife of Hercules, was the cupbearer. His duties included serving the gods nectar and ambrosia, drawing bath for Ares, who was also her brother, and helping Hera enter her chariot once she became married to Hercules. This left Mount Olympus without a cupbearer. To fix this problem, Zeus turned into an eagle and kidnapped Ganymede so that he could assume the position. Things were not exactly the same for Ganymede as they were for his predecessor, Hebe. First of all, Ganymede is said to have introduced the sweet and intoxicating drink of mead to Mount Olympus. The gods were pleased with this addition, but not all the gods were happy. Hera, who was often jealous, directed her attentions to Ganymede, who she saw as a rival for Zeus' affections. Eventually, Ganymede stopped being the cupbearer and was eventually sent into the sky as a constellation. Hercules had a great deal of strength and energy and could have been a real monster. He had enough pent-up rage and anger. He could have taken out whole villages if he wanted to, but instead he chose to use his strength and energy for good, not evil. It's a good lesson for us all to remember. So, the moral lesson of the story of Hercules, it includes about happiness, because happiness is the most important thing in life. Always be true to yourself, and hard work pays off. So his goal is to become a hero and prove that he is worthy of becoming a god and living in Olympus.
The moral of the story is that always choose your happiness, just like what Hebe did when he left Mount Olympus after she had a great marriage with Hercules. Hebe went from being treated like a servant on Mount Olympus to being a happy marriage with one of the greatest heroes of Greek mythology, which is Hercules. She is right with her decisions because it brought her to the place where she found her happiness, which is to live with the man he married. And so Ganymede became the cupbearer of the gods after Hebe left Mount Olympus.